Ever wondered what it's like to switch from Unity to Unreal Engine? Let me tell you, it's a bit like trying to defuse a bomb while being colorblind and holding the manual upside down. But what idiot would do this anyway? That's right, it's me. You could argue that the Unity pricing change was my reason for switching to Unreal, but in reality, that's just a lame excuse for wanting to try Unreal Engine. After about 2 years of working on my drifting game called Trishu Drift, I thought getting top tier visuals out of Unity was possible, but in Unreal it feels more natural. You get almost cinematic results right out of the box without much tinkering, and that was a huge draw for me. But good lighting and good reflections don't make a game. What sells a game is the environment and the gameplay. And when I'm building environments, I don't want to search for hours for either fitting models or how to edit the terrain in a non destructive workflow. And Unreal has just that. The tools help you bring the world to life faster, and especially with mega scans, it's a total game changer, and integrating it in your workflow is super easy. Performance wise, Unreal has pushed the boundaries for what I wanted to achieve. Unity was starting to feel a bit limited, especially as Trisha Drift grew bigger and more complex. And let's just say that really didn't help my decision of staying with Unity. But let's talk a bit more about where Unreal really shines in comparison to Unity. Unreal Engine is known for its visuals, but let's dive a little bit deeper. Nanite and Lumen were the big game changers for me when I first started. However, I'm not really a fan of Lumen for what I'm doing with Trishu Drift. Dynamic lighting isn't essential and Lumen can be overkill for my case. I prefer to have some more control over the lighting with other tools. Nanite, on the other hand, is fantastic, but I use it selectively. In some situations, it can cause performance drops and the occasional lag, so I don't rely on it all the time. But when it's needed, though, it handles the complex geometry perfectly without a huge performance loss. In my opinion, getting the project into a working state fast is easier. With blueprints, I was able to learn prototyping faster and get Trishu Drift into a playable prototype state more quickly than I could ever in Unity. Another big side of Unreal is that it just comes loaded with tools such as level design, animation, and optimization, which are much easier to use than in Unity. Now, while Unreal has been a real game changer for me, there are also some areas where Unity still outshines it. 2D, for example. For 2D games, Unity is still king. Unreal is just not built for smaller scale 2D projects in the same way. Also, I found the Unity Asset Store easier to use and more massive. It has a broader selection than Unreal, and that's a huge side that Unreal is still lacking in my opinion. Also, I found the learning curve with Unity is much easier, especially if you're new to development. Not only that, but Unity's visual effect system is a bit more intuitive for small scale, easy to implement effects than Unreal is. The last big point of the current version with Unity, in my opinion, is that Unity still dominates mobile and web GPU projects. Unreal is just overkill for these platforms. Now, before talking about the upcoming updates in Unity 6, I wanted to say join our Discord and wishlist my game on Steam. Link is in the description. Now, let's talk about what's coming to Unity 6, because some of these features might change things for the better. Unity 6 is set to bring out massive performance improvements with focus on multi-threading and better GPU usage. So we might see Unity close the gap with Unreal Engine on larger projects. Not only that, but Unity 6 will introduce better real-time rendering tools that could rival some of Unreal's Lumen capabilities, making it more appealable for high-end 3D projects. And Unity 6 will refine some of the visual scripting things, like Bolt, making it easier for non-programmers to develop more complex game mechanics without diving into code. The new AI integration and machine learning tools could also give Unity a edge for developers, focusing on more procedural content generation or smart NPC behavior like we see with some tools in Unreal Engine. Another big thing is that Unity has always been the go to tool for multi platform development, and Unity 6 is doubling down on this, improving support for web GPU, VR, and even cloud gaming. So, was the switch to Unreal hard? Absolutely. But in a year, here's where I stand. The first month is the difficult part. The first month in Unreal was tough and the interface was unfamiliar. Moving from C Sharp to C++ and Blueprints was a huge challenge. And also, the inner works of the engine are a bit different. But still, after the initial hurdle, both engines started to feel very similar. The underlying principles of game development are still consistent no matter what engine you use. So, after a year of Unreal, what's my final verdict? Switching to Unreal for Tissue Drift was the best decision I could ever make. The visuals, performance, and the toolset are perfect for the game's scale and my ambition. And that said, for smaller projects or 2D project, I will still be using Unity. It's just better suited for those kind of games. Thanks for sticking around with me through this 1 year of retro perspective. If you made the switch to Unreal or are thinking about it, let me know in the comments and don't forget to check out Tissue Drift.